All right, so this is basically what my Don't Forget About It podcast is going to be about. But stuff went down last night after me and you went to dinner.
Right.
Okay, so after you dropped me off to my car, I got a text message from a girl saying, "Are you going to the LVSC party?" Meanwhile, I was invited by Novak, the
Right.
general manager.
I saw the posts.
Right. So I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to go down there, but what are you doing? Why are you asking?" And she's like, "Well, I'm going to dance till 11 if you could pick me up." I said, "Yeah, I'll pick you up because it's on the way to LVSC anyway." So she's like, "All right, I'm going to dance to 11. I'm going to change. I'll wait for you in the locker room." So I went and picked her up. I won't say her name right now on the podcast. I went and picked her up. We go over to LVSC. I know all the door guys. Novak's outside, so he saw me. So I'm right in, right? So any dancer I didn't know, she knew because she's a dancer. So we were like celebrities there, right? So one girl comes up to me and she goes, I said, "I know you." And she goes, "Mike, the comedian?" I said, "Yeah." She's like, "Where the fuck have you been?" And I was like, "Oh, I've been working. Why, what's up?" She's like, "I met you at LVLV." I said, "Oh, yeah, when I was with Cash." She's like, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, well, Cash is in Tennessee now." And she's like, "So she left LVLV to go to Tennessee?" I said, "No, she went to LVLV, back to Scores, then to LVSC. She just moved back to Tennessee in December." And she's like, "Did you fuck Ivory?" I said, "Ivory?" I was like, "No, I didn't fuck Ivory." She's like, "You didn't fuck Ivory?" I was like, "No." I said, "She's a comedian." I said, "I did a show over at LVLV and Ivory was there." And remember I told you the argument me and Cash got into where Cash was like, "Who's putting their pussy in your face?"
No, I don't know.
And I text back. I said, "I'm with Ivory right now. We just did a comedy show."
The one from the podcast?
That's the one. Yeah, you met Ivory.
Yeah, okay. But there's more than one. So I can't keep up.
Yeah. Well, anyways, it's that girl. I was like, "Nah, I never slept with her." But so that's when I was like, that must have been the girl at LVLV that text Cash that some girl's putting her pussy in my face. Meanwhile, she was doing like handstands and landing on my shoulder. She's like, "You're strong. I want to try this."
Oh, I remember that story.
Yeah. So I was like, so that must have been the girl. Because when she's like, "Where the fuck have you been?" I'm like, "Oh shit, did I fuck this girl?" Or does she know? But that she says LVLV and Cash.
Right.
So I was like, all right. So I figured that out. I was like, all right. Because when she was like, "Where the fuck have you been?" I was like, "Uh-oh, what happened here? What did we do?" Right? But that's not the funniest part of the story. Another girl I'm talking to, her stage name is Goddess. And I was talking to her. I get her Instagram. I was like, "Oh, you follow two of my girlfriends?" And she's like, "Oh, which ones?" I said, "Cash and Courtney." She's like, "Oh, I met Courtney in March." I said, "Oh, really?" She's like, "Yeah, she ran over that dead body by my apartment."
She's the one that gave me the baby blanket.
There you go. Because I was like, I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "I was there."
Because my son was out there freezing, so they were being nice and giving my son a blanket.
Yeah, because I was like, "No, I was at the accident scene." She's like, "No, I was there. I gave her a blanket, and I was like, "Oh, all right, cool." I was like, "Yeah," because we actually had to talk to the cop to get the blanket. But I thought it was a jacket, but I guess it was a blanket. Meanwhile, so I said, "You're following two of my girlfriends, right?" And she goes, "Well, I want to be one of your girlfriends." I was like, "Well, Cash or Courtney's got to okay that. I can't just add, more girls to the roster." So I said, "You got to be okay." So but that's some funny shit. She's like, "Oh yeah, I met Courtney the day she ran over the dead body."
That's fucking nuts.
I'm like, how many people know you ran over a dead body?
I
Now
posted it on my Instagram.
I know you did. I was like, yeah. She texted me. I wasn't there yet. She's like, "I ran over a dead body." I said, "You know what my reply was?" She's like, "What? Are you okay?" I said, "Oh, no, of course not." I said, "Is the car okay?" All right, so here's the last part of the story. So remember the mob guy we're hanging out with last Saturday at the restaurant?
Yes.
He calls me at 1:30 in the morning.
Is it about what you mentioned that day?
No,
Okay.
not about that. We can't talk about that on this. But he calls me. He's like, "Hey, have you talked to Krista today?" I was like, "No. Why? What's up?" He goes, "Well, I called her at 8 o'clock. I called her at 9 o'clock. I just texted her. She's not responding." I said, "All right, let me call and text her, see if I can get her." I get nothing, right? So I'm like, "All right, where you at?" He's like, "Well, I'm at the house." He's like, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm at a party at a strip club." And I said, "I'll go by her house and see if she's all right, because she's in Henderson." And I said, "Send me her address." And he goes, "I don't have her address." He's like, "I know where she lives, but I don't have the address." I was like, "All right, let me see if I could find it in the phone." I said, because we got her whole name and all that. So then I find an address, and I sent a picture of the house. So I send him the picture of the house. I said, "Is this the picture?" So I only been to her house like once or twice. So I don't, and it was dark, so I don't know what it looks like in the daytime. And then as soon as I send him the picture, she fucking hits me back. "Oh, I'm okay. I went to sleep at 8 o'clock. Meanwhile, I'm telling the girl I'm with, I'm like, "Yo, we gotta fucking go. I got an emergency." I said, I drop you off somewhere, but I gotta take care of some business. But she hit me. I was like, "How do we not have her address? We're doing protection for her. We don't have her address." So I text her. I was like, "You gotta send me your fucking address." So we all got addresses now. So that was my night last night after our date.
Very fucking eventful.
Well, that's why I figured with the podcast, with my crazy life, I figure I'll just be talking about this, because I don't have to. Some people write out a fucking podcast. They come up with stories and bullshit. I can just talk about what happened yesterday, what happened 7 hours ago, and that'll be a fucking good podcast. So that's what I'm going to be talking about on the Don't Forget About It podcast.